protection techniques. As you know from what we talked about last night and this morning, that there is a lot of bombardment of electromagnetic waves, mind control stuff, negativity, and all around you all of the time. And especially if you're in large groups of people, or if you work in areas where there's a lot of technology and there's bombardment of electromagnetic fields on you constantly on your system, you need to protect yourself to keep your energy intact. Especially those of you who do work hands-on with people, where you touch them, you could pick up their contamination, they can pick up yours. So one very, very good protection technique, which is all in violet, remember, violet is protection and filtering, is to surround yourself with an egg-shaped energy field. You're inside of it, and it's filled with a violet color. And the shell, or outside of the egg, is a mirror facing away from you. So that if anybody looked at you energetically, they would see a mirror in the shape of an egg. And what does this do? Any energies coming towards you are deflected back to the sender by the mirror, and any energies that happen to penetrate the mirror are filtered by the violet inside and keep you safe. I recommend you do this when you're sitting in front of the computer, when you're working hands-on, when you're in large crowds in a city, when you're in an area filled with technology. You'll know when you need to protect yourself. This is a very important, most common technique. Another simple technique is to put yourself or your loved one in violet hands like this around you as a protection. Even when you're driving your car, you can keep violet hands under the car like this or like this as a protection, like this or like this. Same thing in any vehicle in which you are traveling. Another protection technique, which many of you may have seen, I call it the ring or the halo. That's what they have them on religious photos or paintings, of a ring or halo over the top of the crown area. But what is it really doing? Coming down from that ring are violet energy rays or threads that act like a curtain of protection around you. Yeah, and it's completely enveloping you. That's why they drew halos over people's heads in religious paintings. You can also add to this either silver or gold overlay to the violet as a protection. For your home, okay, this is your home. Let's say there's a storm coming or some violence is in the atmosphere. You can literally put your home in a dome like this, filled with the violet and the mirror on the outside. I would also suggest, because such things are underground as well, that you complete with a circle or a circle, because there's stuff coming up from underneath as well that you don't even realize. The earth, as we'll find out tomorrow, is really hollow. So, very important you cover the top and the bottom, all angles. Now, I need to ask you all a question. How many of you have heard of the Bible Code, the book, The Bible Code? where, by putting the ancient Hebrew language directly into a computer without spaces, the computer showed that coded into the wording were sequences that connected certain letters together and formed multidimensional shapes. Now, when they put all the shapes together and they asked the computer, what is the master shape that is the shape of all shapes and everything comes from it, and would also therefore be the most perfect protection because it would literally be the shape of God mind, the computer came up with a tetrahedron inside an octahedron. It's hard to draw, so bear with me. A tetrahedron is a three-sided pyramid on a flat base. This would be a tetrahedron. Three-sided pyramid on a flat base. Really has four sides, but three of the triangular. An octahedron is, really, if you know how the pyramids look in Egypt, the four-sided, well, one on top and one on the bottom. That's an octahedron. And so, octahedron that would be an octahedron. And the whole thing would be in violet. And whatever you're protecting is in the middle there, in the center of the tetrahedron. This works as a super fantastic protection technique. Think of it as the master protection of everything. In fact, the image is so powerful when you create it that it lasts for 3 or 4 days. All these others need to be recreated every so often during the day. This one lasts for 3 to 4 days before it dissipates. You really only need to do it twice a week if you were protecting yourself or another person or a thing. When you fly or you're in a vehicle, it's a good idea to keep the vehicle in the very center of the tetrahedron, inside the octahedron, all in violet, all of it in violet. Someone told me that as an extra added dimension or super duper, really overkill, you could put a ring of gold around the whole thing, or gold and silver, like you would at the halo, only be gold and silver around all that. It's really superfluous, but look, it couldn't hurt you. So, remember this ultimate protection technique. It lasts a very, very long time. And a lot of people have difficulty conceptualizing it mentally because it's really 2 different shapes in one. And really 3 because you're putting whatever you're protecting in the center of the whole thing. So you first want to put yourself or whoever you're protecting first, then build the tetrahedron around that. Then once you have that in your head, then put the octahedron around that. All in violet. And nothing will ever happen to you. What color should you never use when you're flying? Well, you shouldn't use that anywhere. But what color would be very dangerous to use when you're flying? Well, you're sitting on it. Brown. Yeah, don't ever use brown when you're flying. Keep the plane and the protection in violet and or gold. Highest level. Now white is the highest energy possible. It's a very powerful, powerful energy. but it's so powerful it destroys physical